Dear student, myself Dr. Suryaprakash, course instructor in the course, 4th semester course, Seed Technology, Principles and Principles of Seed Technology. Today in continuation we will discuss about the seed production, principles and practices. It is very much important that until and unless we don't have the idea about the principles of seed production, we cannot go for the production. So if we define the seed production, so it is a strict practice of raising a good crop of existing variety or new variety. These two terms are there. Either we can produce the seeds of existing variety or of the seeds of a new variety which are superior than that of the existing one and which fulfilled a number of rigid requirements. We underline this rigid requirement means it must fulfill the requirements which are very much essential for the production, seed production purpose. That is the isolation and the roguing and different other you can say the processing and other things of the seed productions in order to maintain component of quality seeds. Until unless we don't have a quality seeds, it's useless. So to maintain the component of quality seed, that are different components which I already told you the earlier lecture, that there are genetic purity, physical purity, seed health and seed vigor and germination percentage. These all are some of the quality parameters of the seeds which must be maintained. So before start of the seed production program, we must have a clear-cut idea, clear-cut plan about the seed production so that we can develop a seed production program or an industry. So that largely depends on the overall agricultural development, overall development of the agriculture in a particular state where we are going to produce the seeds. So it also includes the planning and implementation of systematically rapid and timely supply of quality seed in required quantity. If the seeds are not supplied at in adequate quantity at the right time, it's useless to the farmers. So there are some of the factors which are responsible for the development of seed industries, like we should have a sufficient number of new varieties available, development of seed certification agency and the seed law in the particular state where the seeds are going to produce. It must have a seed law and the seed certification facility. Development of cleaning and production technology. There must have emergence of seed growers as a specialist. It is very much required that if we are considered the seed, it means that the seed company, private seed company are doing their own production purpose, but it is not so. In the seed production purpose, seed company are generally just hire the land of the farmers, seed growers, and they use their land for the seed production purpose. So there are some of the basic basis for the development of seed program. So that is the high level support from the government. It is very much essential. Until if we are going to just establish or produce a seed industry in a particular state, we must have support. We must have clear-cut support from the government with regard to their policy making, with regard to their desire and their determination. Administrative support, that is law and order situation, should also be supported by the government. And the appreciation is also required. Until unless we don't have appreciation from the government, the upper sides, it's very much difficult to produce the seed, develop a seed industry. The next one is the productive plant breeding program should also be there. Otherwise, if we don't have productive plant breeding program, the existing variety which are very much stable in the particular area is not fulfilled. The coordinated efforts, that is to create cultivator demand and to develop cadre of trained specialists, it is required in the seed production programs basis. This is the history of seed industry. So it was earlier realized that in earlier decades of 20th century that the development of seed industry is essential, and for the first in UP government in 1920 established a seed go down in every subdivision. Thereafter in 1925 the Royal Commission on Agriculture reviewed the production and distribution of seed in India. Later on in 1952 ICAR appointed a standing expert committee for strengthening the seed production and distribution system. Later on in 1960 ICAR again set up a committee for suggesting about seed production program, and lastly during 1963 ICAR started the National Seed Corporation program. So demand forecasting. Before going to produce the seeds, it's very much essential to have a demand. If we forecast the demand, what quantity of seeds are required by the farmers. So because inadequate estimation of demand and their consequence resulted the overproduction, either the overproduction or the underproduction, that can cause serious financial consequences to a particular seed industry. So next, too many conveyors carry over seeds and stock write-off will prove to be expensive, while lack of seed means a loss of revenue and source of frustration for the sales force and the dealer networks. Unless if we produce a seeds of large quantity seeds in large quantity and that is not being sold in particular seasons, that considered to the carryover seed for the next season, and if it is not sold in that year, it would be write-off. So the financial burden, financial load, and every types of just frustration is being felt by the sales force and the dealers. There are some of the features in the seed industry which makes the accurate assessment. What I earlier told, that the demand forecasting must be adequate, not inadequate. It must be clear. So there are some of the features that, like longer period of time for the development, new product from breeding programs, the seasonality of productions, in which seasons the seed production is being carried out. So production subject to variable like agro-climatic condition outside the control of management, statutory control and quality standards, existence of the generation system where by the production in 1 year is progenitor of for the next. So generation system is very much required a basis to provide the basis for the production demand forecasting. Limited safe life and the loss of generation, and lastly the seed replacement rate, which is very much essential unless we don't have idea about the seed replacement rate. Actually that is the replacement of quality seeds by the farmers to that of their own use of seeds. Factors which affect the demand, it is the most important distinguish between actual demand and perceived demands. Generally, we just perceive that some quantity of seeds are required by the farmers, but it is not so. It is the actual demand is little bit different. The total amount of certified or labeled seeds sold may be quite a small proportion of the total requirement, because it is very much needed that the farmers must grow the certified seeds of a particular variety. So some of the features which we can narrate here, that the cropping pattern and intensity, type of seed used, climate, demand for crop production, these are some of the factors which must be considered during this. Here we can see the seed production and crop production. The difference between these two is very much essential. Generally, the production parts cover these two, seed production and crop production. So we are more concentrated, we are more related with the seed production parts. So what is this? This is the basic seeds should be from the authentic source. And we know very well that there are different types of seeds, the nuclear seeds, the breeder seed, foundation seed certified, and so on. So for the production of a particular class of seeds, the basic seeds must be procured from an authentic source. In crop production, it is not much required. Any seed materials, particularly the certified seeds, can be used as a crop production purpose. In case of seed production, seed plots must be selected carefully, because if we select the area of those area which are having high rainfall, our purpose will be defeated and the seed production program will be very much go in loss. So it is very much required that, but in case of crop production, we can grow a crop particular for just suitable for that particular area. Needs isolation from other varieties. It is very much technical things in seed production program that the isolation must be followed. Isolation is of two types. If we have a sufficient area, we can go for the distance isolation, but if we don't have the sufficient area to produce the seeds of two different variety, we must go for the time isolations, that we can defer the flowering time of the seed production program. But in case of crop production, such type of requirement is not needed. So in case of seed production, it must have a technical skill personnel to maintain the quality. But in this, farmers can scientifically very much can grow a good crop. Maintenance of genetic purity is very much important. We know very well that the during seed chain, genetic purity is very much important. If we have 0.2% genetic impurities in breeder seed or nuclear seeds, it multiplied in 20% in case of certified seeds. So it's very much important to maintain the genetic purity as well as the physical purity in seed production program. But there is crop production, the commercial crop production, it is not required. Rogging is also a very much technical practices which are practiced in the seed production program. Harvesting should be done at physiological and harvesting maturity. In case of seed production, the crop must be harvested at physiological maturity. The physiological maturity and field maturity both are a little bit different, because in case of farmers crop productions, the farmers just harvest the crop and thresh immediately. So at that time we should harvest the crop at field maturity, but in case of seed production, it should harvested at the physiological maturity. Resultant seeds should be vigorous and viable, and some of these are more differences we are having here. Now when we talk about the seed production program, there are two types of seed production of a particular crops. Like in case of maize, if we are going to produce the seeds of open pollinated variety or for the hybrid seed production, these two differ from one to another. So in case of varietal seed production, there is single parent multiplication. It is considered as the multiplication of a single parent, but in case of hybrid seed productions, it needs two or many parents. We study already in third semester that there are different types of hybrids: single cross hybrids, double cross hybrids, triple cross hybrids. There are a number of three-way hybrids. So what type of hybrids we are going to produce depends on that the parents are used. Isolation distance requirement is very much less, but in case of hybrid seed production, it is very much too high. It goes up to 500 meters and so on. Because in wet lines, particularly hybrids is generally produced in case of cross-pointed crop, but in case of self-pointed crop, we are also having hybrids like in rice, that we are having the CMS system, cytoplasmic male-STT system. We all know very well. So in case of seed, it can be continuously used. In case of varietal seed production, seed can be used continuously for 3-4 generations. But in case of hybrid seed production, we have to change the seeds every year. Production technique is very much uniform, and techniques differs with the crop to crop in case of hybrid seed productions. So we can have a rough idea of the hybrid seed production, particularly in case of pigeon pea. We can see here that there are different A and R. What does it mean? It means that A is the sterile lines, male sterile lines, whereas R represent the restorer lines. These two are very much essential in seed production programs. So in case of pigeon pea, we have the idea about the 1 male and 4 female, and 4 A lines and 1 restorer lines is grown to produce the hybrid seeds. generation system of seed multiplication, it is the production of particular class of seeds from a specific class of seed up to the certified stage. Let's see the stage. We know very well that the actual seed used by the farmers is the certified seeds. So how this certified seeds will be produced, what is the system of generation system is applied in these systems. So there are different systems of seed production, that 3 generation system in which we produce breeder seed to the foundation seed and that of the certified seeds. In another generation system there are 4 generation systems where we use breeder seed, we produce breeder seeds to foundation seed stage 1 and then foundation seed stage 2 and then certified seeds. We use this 4 stages of generation systems. In 5 generation systems model, we use the breeder seeds, foundation seed 1, foundation seed 2, certified seed 1 and certified seed 2. Actually this generation system have been developed as per the requirements. If we do have a high level requirements, so we can go for the 4 generation systems, because the requirement of foundation certified seeds is too much, so we must also have the basic seeds for certified seed production. The foundation seeds, it must have the adequate quantity. So this is the seed chain. We can say that the class of seeds, we can see here that nucleus seeds, breeder seeds, foundation seeds, certified seeds, which are generally used by the farmers, and that can also be multiplied to the truthfully labeled seeds, and these are some of the quality control system which must be taken care of, and the agencies who are responsible for the production of different class of seeds is that we can see here that the tag color which are attached with the particular class of seeds. So difference between certified seeds, generally we confuse about the certified seeds and truthfully labeled seeds. So there must be clear cut differences. There is this clear cut difference that in case of seed certification, certified seeds, seed certification is compulsory, but truthfully, in case of truthfully labeled seeds, if a particular seed lot have a optimum germination percentage, we can say that it can be used as the label as the truthfully seeds. It is applicable to notified kinds only, but applicable to both notified and released variety. We know very well that the process of developing a variety, that there are different processes, and until and unless we don't have the notified variety, notified by the Central Variety Release Committee or notified by the Agriculture and Cooperation, the Government of India, the certified seed cannot be produced. But in case of truthfully labeled seeds, it can be produced. In case of certified seeds, it should satisfy both minimum field and seed standards. Minimum field and seed standards must be maintained by the certified seeds. But in case of truthfully labeled seeds, if we have a sufficient optimum standard quantity and optimum percentage of the physical and germination percentage, we can say that the truthfully labeled seeds is used. Seed replacement rate, what I earlier told, that it is very much important in case of demand forecast. So here we see that the SR seed replacement rate. This is nothing but only the replacement of quality seeds by the farmers to that of their own use of own seed. Generally, farmers are using their harvested material as a seed material in the next generation, next seasons. But if they procure the quality seeds from the authentic source, that is considered as the seed replacement rate. So different with respect to different crops, there we can see the seed replacement rate. Now we coming to the principles of seed production, which are very much essential to know that these two are basically, there are 2 different principles being carried out in seed production program. First, the genetic principles, and second one is the agronomic principles. In case of genetic principles, there are two things included, that the deterioration of crop varieties. If we develop if we develop a good varieties having genetic potential of producing a high quantity seeds, crops, So in that case, if it in next or in multiplication, during multiplication cycles, it is being deteriorated due to different reason. That is first the developmental variations. If we continuously grow a particular variety in a harsh environment, in a stress environment, the physiology of that variety, the genetic makeup of that variety is being changed. So the genetic deterioration will be taken place. So this is the developmental variation. Mechanical mixture is also very much important in very much factor, the responsible for the deterioration of variety right from the sowing to that of the harvesting and threshing. So it must be taken care of the deterioration of the variety. So mutation, we know very well that the sudden heritable change being occurred due to a spontaneous mutation in nature. Natural crossing is responsible factor for the deterioration of variety. Minor genetic variation present if during the varieties development, if a particular genes are in heterozygous form, they just segregate in the next cycle, then the variation taken place, variation occurs that deteriorates the quality of seeds, the variety. So selective influence of diseases, techniques of plant breeding. So these are some of the factors which are very much responsible for the deterioration of a particular crop varieties. So it is how we must maintain the genetic purity. So how we can maintain it? It can be maintained by the controlled source of seeds. The seed source must be authentic, must be of the good isolation distance. What I told, seed certification is must. Preceding crop requirement. Preceding crop requirement means that in which seasons we are going to produce the seeds, the just previous years, which crop was produced. We should generally change the cycle, change the lane to avoid the off types. Roguing of seed fetus is also very much required, and lastly the grow out test to have the idea about the genetic purity is very much essential. So second principle is the agronomic principles. This consists different factors, that selection of suitable agroclimatic regions. It is very much important, what I told earlier, that the selection of soil or plot is also very much important. The suitable agroclimatic region. The agroclimatic region, the climate consists of the temperature, the humidity, the rainfalls. The wind velocity also sometimes very much responsible for the seed production purpose, because during the harvesting time, if there is the wind velocity is much more, the crop will be lodged, so the whole program will be defeated. Similarly, the rainfall, at the particular the flowering stage, the pollination, during pollination, if high rainfall taken place, then the pollination will not take place properly. So selection of suitable agroclimatic region is very much required. So for your kind information, students, you can see that the botanical seeds of potato, that is true potato seeds, is being produced in Kufri, Simla. But similarly, the sugarcane seeds, botanical seeds of sugarcane, is being produced in Coimbatore. It is not produced other than that particular area. So agroclimatic selection is very much important. Similarly, the selection of seed plots must be of the required type of the crops. As per the requirement of the crops, seed plots should be selected. Isolation of seed crop is very much important. Preparation of land should be prepared properly at fine tilth, because particularly when we talk about the production of seeds of potato, so it is the modified stem. It is just produced in the just soil, subsurface of the soil. So the fine tilth is required for this particular purpose. So these are some of the fertilization. Fertilization is very much important. There must be optimum use of fertilizer, because if we use excess amount of urea, that resulted the succulency of the crops, which which are responsible for attack of the disease and pathogens, etc. and pests also. The irrigation, the critical stage. At every critical stage, we must provide the irrigation to the seed crop, particularly. The supplementary pollination, particularly in case of cross-pollination, cross-pollinated crops, or in often cross-pollinated crops, supplementary pollination is required so that the proper pollination is done. For this, we use the honeybee box in a seed production program. Weed control is very much essential to have a good crop. Disease and pests must be cared of. Harvesting is done at the physiological maturity. Drying must be care of drying of the seeds. The harvested material is done prior to that of the threshing, and then the seed storage. During seed storage, if we have to store the seeds for 1 year, that should have the 10 to 12% of seed moistures. But if we have this little bit longer periods, then it should also, the seed moisture should also be reduced. The storage of raw seeds can be done properly. So students, by this we can end our lectures. Thank you very much.